everyone, Maury Curtis Dunbar here. Welcome back to Painted Studio. It's cold out today. We went from 76, I think, yesterday for a high to like 45 today. It's cold out. So we're struggling a little with our temperatures here. Fortunately, the studio was kept at a consistent temperature, so we won't have any paint failure issues. Nice to see everybody popping in. Thank you for coming. So yesterday we worked on a bunch of different things. Today we're going to work on some other different things. Hey, Minetta. Hi, Maria. Nice to see you here. So we did a brief unboxing yesterday. I showed you. God, y'all loved the stuff I unboxed yesterday. I haven't even had a chance to put it on the shelves, and I'm shipping it out the door today. Thank you very much. I appreciate the orders. That makes me very happy. Keeps us around. All right, so you saw the shapes we got, and you know that we've already had some of these gingerbread men pre-cut, and we've done some stuff on the other sides of them over the summer. So now we're gonna do a little more traditional gingerbread-y kind of looks on our gingerbread men cutouts today. So we're gonna flip this down, and we're going to, yes, Minetta, it is definitely a nice problem to have. I am not complaining, I am saying thank you. All right, so you know we did the other sides of these. And then we had foil adhesive on here for, for weeks. And if you look close, the surfaces have been beat on a little bit. You know, you got some rough spots. That doesn't bother me. We're gonna go with it. We're just gonna embrace it. We're gonna go move forward with other ideas. So we're going to make our gingerbread men actually look a little more like real gingerbread men for this one. And we're gonna try it with two different brown foils from V-Mask. So this one is our Indian Bronze. I think that's the right one. Yes, Indian Bronze. Had to check the name. And we're gonna cut a piece of this off. Look, I even remembered my scissors today. I hope y'all are proud of me. It's been one of those days I wouldn't find my head with both my hands if it weren't attached to my neck. Okay, so we're gonna take this piece. Now you know V-Mask foils can be challenging. They like to roll back a little bit, so have a little patience when you set them down. I'm applying this, smoothing it with my hand. And this is going to be kind of a rough release because there, like I said before, there's a lot of texture on here because these have been sitting around for a long time. I mean, they've gotten dust on them and all kinds of stuff. So there's, you know, if I was really worried, I could go and try to scrub them down and clean it off in the back. No, I'm just going to embrace that texture, make it part of the finish. Now, this is what I love having happen. You see how I got that little white bubble up here? Once that goes, if I can make that work the whole surface, I get a really clean release. And this is something that happens the most with V-Mask because it's such an easy release film. You know, so the others will do it too, but this one really likes to do this. So look, almost flawless release. And look how great that looks on there. So I got a couple little tiny spots on the bottom that I should go and address. Rub it with my finger. Now I could come in here with a brush again too, but I have found that if I over scrub an area where I've already foiled, I will scrub scratches through the foil to the foil that I've already laid down. It will do that. You'll get a dull spot where you'll see the scrub marks. So I rather play with it a little bit and find, like release it with scrubbing at it with my fingernail or something a little bit. It's a little gentler, a little cleaner. So I've got that nice clean release in bronze, and that's really a good one. Now I did put some foil adhesive on the sides here. I'm not worrying too much about the sides of this. It's just that, you know, when you work on something that you foiled on two sides, eventually you're going to actually have some foil stuck on other spots besides the surfaces you want to see. So I'm just kind of going around with my foil, kind of releasing it on spots that might be sticky with adhesive. It will not affect the final look at all. Okay, so, and as you can see, I already did this side. And this side I did with stencil and a couple different foils, and it looks kind of rough and it feels kind of rough, and it's because the stencil I used had leftover texture from something else on it, and it actually created a cool new texture that I really like, and I cannot reproduce unless I use another crapped up stencil. So just be aware, sometimes you create something really amazing completely by accident, which is what I did. All right, we'll take this piece of tape off of here, and we're gonna use this one. There we go, that is taped up. Just didn't look it because there's a little piece sticking out on that end. All right, and this one is our cracked copper bronze, which never looks like anything on the roll because the V-mask for foils tends to mount on a slightly frosty carrier film. So you don't always see the clear, pretty release that you might from others. You don't see it on the film itself, I mean. But it releases beautifully. And once we do that, you'll see how gorgeous this pattern is. Again, giving a little rub down to the surface with my hands. The heat always helps. And a few of you I know who are also followers of Jennifer Ferguson and are on the Foil Everything group have had some issues with getting your foils to release. And one of the biggest issues you're going to have is if you're going to foil, your foil cannot be cold, your foil adhesive can't be cold, and your workspace can't be cold. Foil and foil adhesive don't like cold. I store mine, I know some of you work in your garage and stuff, or maybe in the basement. Make sure wherever, and I had this huge, when my studio was still at home and it was in my basement and I was working privately, my foils would get very cold and my foil adhesive would get very cold and I'd have terrible release. And so I finally started storing in the wintertime. I bring my foils upstairs and try to remember what it was I wanted to use it for when I went downstairs, so I brought the foils with me. So just know, if you're having trouble releasing now that it's getting cold, once you've got it on the surface and if you've experienced bad release, try warming the whole thing with a hairdryer once the foil's down, and then rubbing it with your hand again. It should help. The difference between a cold release and a proper temperature release is huge. Oh, this is cool. Actually, I like this. I'm still getting some of the blue peeking through, which I kind of expected anyway. But I want to come back over here with my hand. I'm not going to use my scrubber because I don't want to dull anything. Not yet. I just want to, any little spots that I might have missed that will pick up some foil. That's what I'm doing. So look how, this is going to be cute. And I'll hold this up so you guys can see it a little better. And you will see my surface is flawed and the flaws show in the release. I'm good with it. I knew it when I put this stuff on that this was going to be the case. So part of it is understanding your surface. But look, I love how that copper bronze is. So because this is a cracked foil already, the fact that the blue is breaking through actually looks intentional. And I really like how that looks. So, you know, these are gingerbread men. We've done them kind of crazy on the other sides. We've done some very wild patterns, but I haven't done anything very traditional. And so I made because I'm one of those people who forgets how to do something traditionally, even though I've done it a million times, I went online. I clipped a couple pictures of decorative gingerbread men. This was a girl. This is the guy. We only have guy shapes, so you know, I can kind of pretend this is a skirt on one of them. We'll work it out. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is, the last thing you ever do on a cookie is ice it. Because if you try to do anything else after you've iced it, you ruin the icing. So that's the icing part, that is the trim around the legs and stuff like that. That'll be the last thing we do. And of course, because this is me, you know, we don't just have regular little black dots and blobs and stuff for eyes. We have crystals, lots of crystals in different colors. So we're going to really kind of jazz up our gingerbread men in ways I don't think gingerbread men are normally jazzed up. So this is something I keep a gem dabber in, but I also keep the noses to my E6000 jewelry glue, because that keeps them clean and I don't lose them. This is the cap for the E6000 jewelry glue, and then the jewelry glue has a special opening on top, if you're not familiar with it, and you screw the needle onto it. Now let's see if I've got this clear and it's gonna go through, because I haven't used this in a while. So I could be getting into something really bad here. Okay, so the glue's coming out. Let's see if the opening's working. The opening looks pretty good. See if anything goes through. There must be a clog somewhere, because that one's not coming out. And of course, I don't check these things before I go live, so you guys get to watch me stumble around trying to figure out how to fix it. Pretty typical day for me, though, quite frankly. And I keep glue syringes around, and you can just order glue syringes directly on Amazon. They're not expensive. They don't come with needles. They come with tips like this, and they are syringes. I wonder if my glue is getting old, which is not impossible. I may have to do this way, because I'm getting tired of playing with these needles, these needle noses. Right, there's that, there's an eye and an eye. We're gonna do one at a time, just so I kind of get my feet under me with this. I can do green, I've got gold, red, black. Where's my, I had a multicolored one. I don't think there's any blacks in this one to do. Little black eyes though. Well, I might be wrong. Let's see, where's my pickup pencil? Okay. And when I bought these crystals, this is actually a wax tip pen or pencil, and you can dab it down into the gems and they pick them up. Sometimes they work really well, sometimes they don't work at all. Okay, that's green. Tip these two out and see what colors I actually have, because I gotta make sure I have two of the same colors too. Okay, good, I got a couple black ones. So we'll do black here. Little coal black eyes, which would be normally like a raisin. And then, where's my little photo? Now, I could pipe on something to give me a smile, but that's not how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it differently. I'm drawing the smile on with the glue, and I'm going into my little red gems here, and we're gonna make a little red gem smile. I just shake those out and then use my dabber to grab them. And these gems, I just buy them in packs on Amazon. This Amazon should be paying me for how much I advertise them. I hate this one, I can't get them flipped over. I have big, bulky fingers, and I work with little things, and they just don't like to flip over the way I want them to. So when I do something like this for a piece of furniture or a big job, I have a tray set out. I spend about 20 minutes flipping over gems, laying out enough so I have enough to work with, trying not to make myself too crazy. That never happens. I'm still crazy with it all because, you know, you work with little things. This is going to make me cuckoo, the fact that I can't flip them over. I do not want to flip over. Ugh, so frustrating. Kind of like to get them all on the smile before, you know, the glue all dries. That would be nice. And I just need one more, I think. I just want maybe one more right there. Spread the smile a little bigger. It's the holidays. And if anybody, I bake only like a couple times a year. Christmas is one of them. I don't frost cakes. I don't decorate cakes. Yeah, I do all this stuff here at the studio, so I don't have to do it anywhere else. All right, and so we need to put a little gems down the front here to look like the buttons. And I think in the keeping of like a Christmassy tradition, we'll do green. So I'll put a couple big, 2, 3. There's that. Okay, let's go find some green gems. Not like I have to dig through that pile. I have a whole load more green gems over here. Now the other thing that I did, so I also sat down and hand tied a few bows ahead of time. So I'll show you exactly how I do that. I don't untie the ribbon from the roll. I take it and I make my loop and I tie my bow all before cutting it because then I don't waste a lot of ribbon. It's a much more controlled way for me to make a bow, especially when I'm making them this small. And I just keep going back and forth, and I don't pinch the ends of the bow so I don't get a crease in the ribbon. And then when I'm done, where'd my scissors go? Here they are. I just take it, cut it off the roll, trim a little extra. And I have a bunch of them already made, so that I will take one blob of glue right here, take my bow, and tack it down. And we're going to set that aside for a few minutes to dry. We're going to take care of this one. Let's see. Don't know if I have any more little black flat crystals, or if I have enough. I might have some, but I might not have more than one, because I don't see more than one in this pile. Let's see if I have another one somewhere. If the sizes are close. All right, keep shaking them to try to flip them over to see all the colors, just to see if I'm spinning my wheels on this one. Okay, we do not have 2 black ones. We have other colors. And since this is blue, maybe a couple blue eyes, and we just consider them little blue candies. And that's gotten all gunked up. One problem with E6000, either the jewelry glue or the other glues, is they like to get really gummy. They can be challenging. This one happens that the tube has just cracked on me, so it's on my hands. All right, so let's put a blue eye here. Nice blue eye here. Let's do a little let's do a little smile and hope that I don't goop up everything. Okay. Gosh, it's all over everything. It's the tube split, it's leaking on my, oh, I am like joy to behold today. I'm just taking a pair of tweezers that I happen to have nearby, spreading the glue so I have an even coating for the smile. It'll dry right off the tips of this, and I just put the cap, you know, the cover back on the points. It'll roll right off of there. It's not made to bond to that sort of thing permanently. Now I'm rolling some of the glue off of my own hands so I can touch things, because that tube really just split on me. Blech. That is not a nice feeling. Glue fingers. And we're just going to put the gems on the mouth. If I can get the gems to roll over on the mouth. They don't seem to want to. I'll just go dipping in the bucket for them. Maybe that's easier. Okay, we got that. Oh, eek. Yuck. So we're gonna put a blob here for the bow tie and then a couple for the buttons. So we have a little, again, we have a little bow tie. Covered. Sorry, I am literally just covered in this stuff because the tube decided to let go. Now that tube is probably going to end up in the trash. If I spend more time cleaning it off of me than I do applying it to the surface, that's not my best moment. I gotta roll this stuff off my fingers for a second. All right, so we've got lightly decorated. This is not close to where I was going yet, though. Let me clear a few things out of here so that we can move to the next thing without creating an even bigger mess. All of that gets put to the side. I'll just keep putting things away until I can get to the next thing. So now I need to do, if you look at this, there's a little piping. And, you know, as a decorative person, it's not always easy to figure out what you can use to pipe. Well, we have Artsyville texture medium. Oh yes. Now, normally when I do this, I have not just a piping bag, but I have piping tools, and I can pipe a very fine line using Artsyville texture medium, but my piping tools seem to have gone the way of my mind and just wandered off. So we're gonna just put some in here and we're gonna pipe it. You know, I might mix a little white in there just to make it even whiter. Hang on just a second as I look at it. Grab a bottle of colorant. Now this is already very white, but you know, royal icing is white, 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 white. So I'm gonna take a little aqua cream or faux cream color in white. I'm going to not do it that way because the nozzle's clogged. I'm gonna take a blob. Come on. This is an old bottle and it's fine, it's completely fine, but it just doesn't pour as nice and liquidy as I like. It's a little thicker, which is part of the reason it's stored upside down. And that's just white colorant from Faux Effects. And I add a little bit in here and it just bumps up the white a little. You won't see the difference on camera, but I can see it. And it just made it a little whiter, a little less cream color, a little whiter. Good Lord, I cannot touch anything today without it gooping up on me. What is wrong with me today? You know what I got here? Somebody was kind enough to buzz through and dropped off a hand wipe. I'm going to use that because, quite frankly, my hands are sticky and I'm afraid to touch anything else for cross-contaminating. Because the other option is that you all watch me get up and go to the sink and wash my hands, and that's not that interesting. I just want something that's got a little cleaner in it and take the goo off me so I can touch something. All right. And that goes back behind me. All right, so what I have are pastry bags. Now you can buy these very inexpensively at Michael's. They're super cheap. They come in like packs of 25 like this. Very inexpensive in their cake decorating aisle. If you are comfortable as a decorator, you have your own stuff. I still don't say use your expensive piping bags, use the disposable ones because you don't want to crud up your good piping bags with plaster, a plaster type product. I'm going to take a little bit of this, I'm going to squirt it in here. And I'm not going to put a whole lot in, and then I'm going to squeeze it down. And where's my scissors? Oh, where do I put everything? I have something, 1 second. There it is. This is what happens when you got too many things around you. So you're going to start by cutting the tip off small. Just a little tiny bit, because what doesn't look like a lot could be way too big a line. And then you come over to the side, and like I'm gonna do on here, I'm gonna test. And how you do this is you twist this like you do frosting and hold it a little like this and push down. Yep, that works. You can see I did it right there. That works just fine. So I'm gonna take this on this leg, and the first one's always gonna be a little iffy, so I can't believe I'm doing this the first time on camera. But it worked. Let's see if I screw it up. I was never a froster. I've always been a painter, but I work so much with plasters and stuff. I've learned a few things. All right, let's do the cuff here. Now, I probably should have saved the bow for last. I could have reached in there. But now you understand why you do the frosting last, or the icing, or whatever the decorative outlining is that you want to call it, the plastering, the piping. But you do it last because it's wet, and you don't want to reach back over it and constantly dab in jewels and stuff like that, because that's how you you make a big old mess. All right, let's see if I can get these eyebrows on. And there you go. Now you can obviously decorate more or less. Let's put this, that one's pretty traditional. Sometimes I've seen them done where they're pants and then they have stripes. So maybe we'll try. Let's see what am I gonna do here? I could do. Pray for me. And always pull the bag away from the direction you're piping. Don't push it forward. You're just gonna make a big old mess. Let's see if I can get this. Don't go too fast, which is my habit, because then you run out of, you pipe faster than your hand moves faster than you're squeezing the product out, and it looks really bad. I've got my angle too high. If anybody's noticing that my hand's shaking, yeah, it does. I'm a little bit of a shaky hand when it comes to piping stuff. I'm fine with a brush. I'm absolutely non-hesitating with a brush, but man, when it comes to doing something like this, my hand sure does shake. And see, I stuck my fingers in something and managed to get a little on the edge, but those are going to dry super cute. So this is how you can use a really, really user-friendly product to make it look like icing on gingerbread men. How easy was that? That was so cute. I'm really happy with that. Oh, Grace, you're good. No, I'm terrible. I just happen to know how to limit my work scope to not do this on bigger things. I have never been able, and I've tried. I have taken classes. I can't pipe a rose. I can't do all that pretty fancy piping around the top of the cake. I can't do that stuff. Okay, now the other thing is, once this is in here, you can seal this up, tape up the bottom, close this around it, and store it in a plastic bag, and it is still good to go. So you can do plenty of those. All right, we are going to take a complete different direction because, you know, I've had those tables in the back for a while. Let me flip this up for a second. You know, I've got those two tables in the back you've seen me working on. Well, I'm finally finishing one, and one is, the big one's actually going back here, and it's going to be my new desk. So the top coat's on. We've got everything done except the front of the drawers. Now, one of the drawers is back drying. We're going to show you how I got there, and then we'll finish one drawer, and I'll probably have to finish the other one tomorrow. So this is the front of the drawer. And as you can see, it's got a rough texture. I didn't work to fix this texture because I knew I was going to put a new texture on the front of the drawer. And this is not going to be easy for me to show you because this is a drawer and the angle's odd. And I need to kind of figure out how to do this so you can see what I'm doing and I can do it without screwing it up. All right, let me grab everything I need. That's that. So oftentimes if I want to create a texture, let's see if I can get this propped on this chair maybe so you can see what that'll work, at least partially. I think that's gonna get you to see what I'm doing and then I'll be able to see too. I'm trying anyway. This is not easy. I am not, clearly not set up to prop a drawer front here. So this has got black set coat on it. You saw me paint that. And then we're gonna take a little of our Faux Effects Venetian Gem in black onyx. This is a synthetic Venetian plaster. And the reason I'm using this over something like texture medium is that I know this is already black. And this will dry, it will be a little smoother in texture than Venetian, the texture medium. Texture medium is a little like marshmallow fluff and it dries a little porous. This is creamier and dries smoother. But I also, since I've got a black base and I'm gonna be doing something over it, I'm already working black on black on black and it saves me the effort of having to paint the color a second time. Why is that taped like that? God, I'm a bad taper today. I don't know who did that, but I should fire them. Yeah, that was me. So I'm using our tiny trowel that we carry, and I'm just smoothing this over the drawer front. And you can see I have the pull ledge here taped off, and I have this part of the drawer taped off. I've painted the inside of the drawers. My last job on this will be to seal the drawers up and inside and out. I'm just troweling it on. This is a little dry because it's an older can. Doesn't matter, it won't hurt anything. Not even particularly concerned whether or not it is a nice smooth finish. I want it relatively smooth, but if I needed any more smoother, cleaner, I'd be using a slightly different trowel that's a little wider, has a little bend, because this drawer front is not dead flat either. All right, so I'm gonna smooth that across. I just wanna clean the crud off the edges. Try not to have too much buildup anywhere over the sides. Needs a little there. And you're only putting your trowel down, I'm not putting this trowel down flat and pushing. I am putting it between 15 and 30 degrees from the surface, and so only the edge is hitting the surface, except when I do something like that because there's been plaster buildup, and I'm just smoothing it over. So now I've got that on, and I'm going to take my Baroque roller. Now, most of the time we think of using the roller up and down. Well, I've got a tiny little narrow drawer front, so I'm just taking this sucker and starting from one end and going to the other. And I have, you can see it didn't take, it's not very wide, but it made a really lovely texture here. So now, oh, can you use this with stencils? Absolutely. Venetian gem, you can stencil through it. It makes nice crisp edges, holds up beautifully. I've used it that way for years. It's just another tool. See, this is the thing. And I feel like I should share this with you all because it's a little bit of knowledge that I've garnered over a lot of years. No one product is the end-all be-all for everything. As a creative person, there's lots of tools. So I'm showing you another tool in that I'm showing you a different product. It's another way to achieve a finish. Sometimes I have things that I use because it dries super hard, or because it's the right texture, or because it's the right color to move forward, and that's what I use. Now, I have used this. This is actually a wall product, but it dries so hard. I use it more on furniture and stuff to fill wood grain than I ever did on walls. But I'm good. What you saw me just do on that drawer front, I have done that on walls, and it's gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So, you know, take a look at what you have, and take a look sometimes at our website, look at all your other creative sources and the things you have there. It's not, there's more than one way to use them. All right, so I'm gonna run back to the back, throw these into the sink, and grab the other drawer, and we're going to finish up the other drawer. Here we go. Sorry, I had to, you know, I don't move very fast. I'm still healing a little bit, so I don't move like Speedy Gonzalez. So here's the drawer. Now, it's not going to look like you would think it looks. It should look. When the Venetian gem dries, it's dead matte. Sanded it lightly to remove any high spots, so I had a smoother surface. Then I brushed on a coat of Artsyville foil adhesive. Why? Because I've put foil adhesive on this other table on all the other surfaces, or all the other surfaces that weren't being left black, so I needed to do the same again. I've used 2 foils on there. And I used the copper slade. Yeah, I used the copper slade on the legs and the medallion. So I'm looking at it right now to confirm what I did. And I point the camera at it for you to see it, but there's about 16 pieces of furniture right in front of it, and I can just happen to catch the edge of it. So we're going to use some more copper. And then I used copper slate on the legs, but I used muted copper, the new muted copper that we brought in on the top. Or is this muted copper? No, it's muted gold. Jeez, I don't even know what I'm saying. On the top, and I wanted the drawers to echo the top so that the whole thing was cohesive. So I'm going to bring my chair back over here and put this one back on the chair so that it's back in the screen, and you can see where we're going with this. I keep shoving things out of the way and then moving something to prop it up, and then shoving something else and moving something to prop that up, and oh, I'm so gifted. So now we're gonna stretch this, and again, this is a V-mask foil, meaning that it's not designed for fabric. It is a super easy release, and you might get a little flake when you pull this back. Now, I'm hoping that I haven't rushed this because I pushed this hard today, and it's been drying in a controlled environment, so I'm hoping that when I pull this back, I don't pull this all the way down to the paint. I could do that, because that's what happens when you push things. I push things for lives. And I'm going to go this way. And I'm not going to worry whether or not I get all of the foil down deep into the crevices. That wasn't my goal. My goal was to create that, which is this sort of gorgeous, old-looking finish. Look how beautiful that is. Now, I carefully peel the tape off. This tape has been foil adhesived, and you don't want to go and pull and rip it down through. Just got to feel for my tape ends. And a little peel. Ooh, I was afraid of that. I knew this might happen. This is part of the reason this table is staying as my desk. Okay, this table was, and we've talked about it before, this table was spray painted and then it had weird stuff sprayed over it. So even after cleaning, priming, and sanding, the table really needed to be stripped. That didn't happen. So when I pulled the tape up, it pulled it all the way down to that weird gummy kind of spray painty layer. So what I'm gonna do, and again, I'm doing it this way because this is for me. Do not do this if you're doing it for a client. I will repaint this and then I will seal the whole thing up. And if it falls, if it gets icky while I'm using it, that's on me. But I'm telling you, that should have been stripped down. I knew that when I started doing that, but I also knew the table was for me. So I skipped a step. If you're doing this for clients, do not skip the steps. All right, I think that covers pretty much everything I was going for. So we made our little gingerbread and gemmed ornaments. Now, these do not come pre-drilled with a hole in them. If you want yours gingerbread men pre-drilled with a hole in them, because you don't like drilling, you don't own a drill, you don't want your kids to hear a drill. That was my son loved watching me drill stuff, and he always wanted to drill. So for whatever reason, if you need these guys pre-drilled, just message me. I'll do it for you. I'll send them to you drilled. We have this size. We have one size larger. You saw the new cutouts from yesterday. I'm loving. These are so cute. This came out. I'm so happy how well these came out. One's slightly out of my reach. I mean, this is just so cute. And of course, there's our beautiful drawer with my very poor prep job right there, but it's good for you to see what happens when you don't prep. I already knew I was in for this. This was all my fault, but I knew I didn't care because it was just going to be for me. So if I beat it up, it didn't matter. But I would never do what I did here on a client piece. Ever, 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 ever. The ornaments, Minetta, are you asking if the ornaments are MDF or plywood? The ornaments are wood. They are finished grade, Baltic birch or plywood. The drawers, this is all wood. Everything I'm dealing with is wood. So the answer is all of it's wood. I think that might help a little bit with the answer. All right, everybody, let me give a sec. Take a scroll through, see if I missed a question. Yeah, Grace, I answered, can you use this on stencils? The answer is yes. Hey, Kate, darling, nice to see you here. Canceled. I'm going to add somebody on camera who might not even want to be on there. That was a mistake. I think I've covered all the questions. Sharon, nice to see you here. Gosh, all of you here popping in. Jenny, Beverly, Deanna. Sandy, thank you. I think, let me see, I don't see any other questions. I appreciate all of you popping in. All right, so again, we carry the ornaments, we carry the materials. We don't carry the piping bags. That's a Michael's Crafts thing or your nearest baking supply shop. But we have everything except the jewels and the piping bags. So yeah. You can make some wonderful stuff. All right, everybody, I think it is now, it's about 5:30. Might be close to time for me to go home. Might be close for time for me to touch up that drawer so that it can dry and I can top coat it and I can start pretending I did a perfect priming job on that, which we've all known because I've admitted it bluntly that I did not do that. All right, everyone, have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.